Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast, and welcome to our Premier League prediction show where we run through all of our predictions. So in around 9-10 months time, we can look back and just laugh at everybody on screen for some obscure predictions. So we're going to go with pretty standard predictions. We're going to go with the whole Premier League table. Who's going to win the FA Cup, League Cup, Europa Conference League, top scorer in the league, top assist, Villa's player of the season, young player of the season. So we want you guys at home to get involved and to fire away your predictions. A lot of you really enjoyed the season preview. So this is now where we start putting numbers on things. And to kick it off, we're going to go in a reverse order of what we did last year. And we are going to go with our wild prediction first. So this prediction can be absolutely anything that for it to happen would pretty much be quite mental, but something that potentially, on the other hand, could actually happen. So shall I kick it off?
Please.
Yes. Come on. My absolutely wild prediction is that Aston Villa are going to go unbeaten all season at home. What we're saying?
Ridiculous.
In every competition?
No, in the Premier League.
In the Premier League?
We're going to go unbeaten in the Premier League. That is my wild prediction.
What about in a couple of weeks' time when we lose at home to Everton? And your whole prediction's just been derailed after 2 weeks.
It's not happening.
I mean, it's
beating Everton at home has become a thing, hasn't it? To open up the season. Now, Luke Robinson put his nuts on the block now. He's predicted an undefeated season. So if we lose to Everton, I'm coming for you, mate. I'm coming for you.
Yeah. I feel like that's... Yeah.
No,
I feel like you've started bold there.
You wanted somewhat wild. So
no,
we go.
Look, you've exactly said how you sort of led into it. You know, it's something that's a wild prediction, but there is a chance it could happen. And you know, let's not beat around the bush. We finished season 8 unbeaten in the league at home or something like that.
Yeah,
we didn't. So you know, that's half a season, isn't it? That we did already. So, and we're better now. So it's not. It's mad, but it's definitely. Yeah, none of us would be massively surprised if that happened. I don't think.
I would.
Little chance.
I'd be massively surprised, but massively.
Okay, 3 of us wouldn't be massively surprised if that happened.
You've started off very bold.
It is. Yeah, okay. Don't worry, everyone watching and listening. It is going to get a bit more serious than this. Right. For everyone laughing at me, then Hannah, what's your wild prediction?
Well, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this on today, more than any other category in this episode. And I started off really tame, and then I was like, "That's not wild enough." And then I thought I'd gone really wild for this one, and now after hearing Luke's, I actually think, do you know what? This is just totally.
Can we just add as well that Hannah got this right last year, her wildcard prediction. So she's got 1 in 1 so far. So there's a bit of added pressure to your prediction now, Hannah.
Yeah, I didn't get my Villa position correct last season, but what I did say is that we'd sell a big player in January, and then we sold Danny Ings, so I was correct. This year, I have gone for Villa to be in the top 4 at Christmas, which I thought was like, wow, that's really bold. Because I mean, if you're in the top 4 at Christmas, you're having a pretty blinding season. But like I say, that seems really tame now. But
I'm saying now. Having listened to yours, some of mine's got to be quite truthful then, because we've got to, for us to be in that position, we've got to
I've won a lot of games.
Form. So, so I'm saying everyone laughing at mine. I don't think that's that bad. Listening to Hannah's,
I'll tell you what. I think there's a recurring theme about these ones. You know, wait till you hear mine. I know mine's along sort of those
Go
lines.
on then.
Okay, mine is Unai Emery is going to win the Manager of the Year award in the Premier League.
That was one of mine, Justin.
Yeah.
That was almost mine. I was going to say he's going to win Manager of the Month like 3 months running or something.
Yeah, so that ties into we're going to be unbeaten at home all season. We're going to be top 4 at Christmas, and he's going to win Manager of the Year. So they're all going to happen, aren't they?
We're on track, guys. We're on track.
Ryan, what's yours?
Don't ruin it now, Ryan.
Yours has got to be some silverware then, if all this is happening.
Well, listen, I had my fingers burnt last season. I had on the prediction review, I had the clown music, so my confidence has been totally smashed. So I haven't gone too bold this season. Like last season, I did predict for the new subscribers. I did predict that Steven Gerrard would be in the running for Manager of the Season, which didn't really come off. So I've tamed it down a bit this season. I've gone for Ollie Watkins and Jacob Ramsey to be in the England squad for the Euro 2024 season, which is probably a bit wild, since that Gareth Southgate is in charge and he was talking about still picking Jordan Henderson, even though he's playing in the Saudi League. So for them two, they'd have to have cracking seasons to get in, but I'm backing them two to have a real good season.
So basically... Yeah, we're all like in this sort of vibe of it all.
For them two to get in the
together.
England squad, your 3 predictions are going to have to come together for them two to get in the squad.
Ryan, I thought he was going to say one that it was 50-50 for me. My other one, which I didn't go with, was a Villa player would win one of the PFA awards at the end of the season. That was one of the other things I thought.
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was just a bit too much.
So those are our very wild predictions. So let's get into the main event then, right? So we are going to have our predictions based on the league. So I think what we'll do is we'll go for 1 to 10. Everybody can do it, and then we'll go from 11 to 20, okay? So we'll start with the Premier League top runners first. For me...
Should we go 10 to 1? Go 10 to 1.
We're going 1 to 10, right? Number 1, Man City. Yeah. I have got Arsenal to finish second.
Yeah.
Liverpool to finish third. Ooh. Manchester United to finish fourth. Chelsea fifth. Aston Villa sixth. Newcastle seventh. Spurs eighth. Brighton ninth. And a wild one for me, Bournemouth to finish 10th.
We've got almost the exact same top 10.
Have we? What's yours then?
I did City, Arsenal. I did Man United in third. Better recruitment. Liverpool fourth. Chelsea fifth. Villa sixth. Newcastle seventh. Spurs eighth. Brighton ninth. And then I've put Brentford in 10th.
So that's pretty close to what I've got then.
Pretty close.
So we have both gone Villa sixth.
Yes. I think we'll improve. It's a season of improvement.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we'll just touch on why I picked sixth as well. Is that I think it has to be improvement from last season. I think we're going to have a fantastic season. I think we're going to be a little bit like your prediction, Hannah, about us being in the top 4 at Christmas. I think we're going to be in and around 5th, 6th, 7th in a battle all season with the likes of Spurs, Newcastle, Chelsea. And that's how I see the season going. I don't think we'll be in that sort of 11th, 10th for a bit and then 6th. I think we'll be pretty solid all through the season. So that's where I'm at. Right. Ryan, go on then. 1 to 10.
Not too dissimilar from you two, really. My top 4, City, as top, just seems inevitable, doesn't it, at the minute? They've lost a couple of players. Well, they've sold a couple of players and they haven't really brought many in. But for me, City, They always have a plan. They're quite smart. They don't let players go. No one buys players off City because they can take them from City. No one can take a player away from City. So when they let someone go, it's because they're not needed anymore. And I just think there's just too much. They've got too much. But I think teams will catch up though this season. I think it'll be a lot more closer. I think Arsenal brought well. United. So I've got Arsenal second. Then I've got United and Liverpool third and fourth. Mm-hmm. Couldn't really decide who was going to finish third, who was going to finish fourth. I think both of them will have good seasons. They've both brought well. Liverpool have sort of refreshed, haven't they? I think Nunes is going to have a good season. I think we'll see Trent Alexander-Arnold move into midfield, which could just be a difference, really freshen them up a bit. So my top four was sound. I think 10th place, I went for Brentford. It was just 5th to 9th. This was the one that got me debating and thinking. So in that 5th to 9th positions, we've got us, we've got Newcastle, Brighton, Tottenham and Chelsea. I just couldn't really decide. It kept fluctuating throughout the day of where people were going to go. One point I thought, Poch coming into Chelsea or settle them down. And then I sort of look at their transfer dealings and it's like a merry-go-round. It's like they're all over the place. And last season was like such a car crash and it's just so poorly run. And I'm just thinking they need another season. They need another season to settle down. So I've gone for Chelsea in 8th position. Brighton just below him in 9th. Again, I couldn't decide with them two. I just thought Brighton with European Cup competition as well as Villa and Newcastle. Just weren't quite sure where to put them. So I've gone Newcastle 5th in the end. I've settled on Newcastle 5th. I think they've got a good squad. I think they're settled like us. So I'll put us in 6th place. 7th place, then I went with Spurs. Don't know, it's got a bit of a funny feeling with Spurs. Chelsea 8th, and then Brighton 9th. Even though I'm changing my mind again now. I still think Brighton now should finish above Chelsea and Spurs. Actually, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it now. I'm going to go Newcastle 5th, Villa 6th, Brighton 7th, Chelsea 8th, and Spurs 9th. That's my settle.
I think the Brighton Spurs one for me was the one that I kept switching around because I thought, well, with Spurs, the new manager, unproven, a bit of a funny one. But with Brighton, they've got European football. How are they going to cope with that for the first time? So I was really iffy about those two as well. I think it could be going either way.
Yeah, I put Newcastle and Villa in that category of it's the first time for us three dealing with European football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just got a real big feeling that Spurs aren't going to do anything. I'll put them in 8th, and I sort of picked either one of Spurs and Chelsea to sort of get their act together, and I'm favouring Chelsea more with Poch, and they've got loads of players, but they've got pace. I just think they've got quite a lot of creativity. And I really just can't see what Spurs are trying to do. I think I look at Mourinho. He's won it all. He can't go in there and get them to be successful. Conte went in there.
Yeah.
He's got trophies galore. He can't do it. Postecoglou, like, what's he got? What's he won? If these players can't play for those two managers, how is he going to get them playing? I really think that they're going to struggle.
Yeah, it's a bit of a transitional year for them, really. I think as a Spurs fan, I think you'd be looking at it thinking, right, I just want to see something. I want to see something put in place for us to build on. Bit more attacking football and foundations and infrastructure being put in place for us to stay and attack the next season or the season after that. I don't rate Tottenham at all. I don't think now. Looking at the squad as well, it's just depleted over the years, hasn't it? Got very, very stale, and the incomings haven't been as good as what the outgoings have been. And if they lose Kane, then
that's the thing.
They could be in trouble, couldn't they?
They're potentially losing the Reece as well. So two big players.
Right, Justin, Villa first. I guess you're going City second.
Yeah, Villa first, Villa second, Villa third, Villa. No, I've had. To be fair, we've all picked the same 10 for the top 10, same teams. My top three are the same as I think as all your top three, but in a slightly different order. I've had City, then I've had United to improve. I think they've bought well. I think he's done a very good job there. And they haven't lost, apart from De Gea. Depends how the keeper settles in, I suppose. And I've had Arsenal for third. I had to really, really convince myself on Arsenal because I'm not a massive fan of Arsenal, if I'm honest.
We know.
They have bought a couple of decent players. I'm not a big fan of Arteta. And then just jumping down from 7th to 10th, 6th to 10th, sorry. I had Chelsea in 6th, Newcastle in 7th, Brighton in 8th, Spurs in 9th. Again, the same reasons you've all said, Spurs, and Brentford in 10th. Newcastle, they haven't bought, I don't think, have they? Nothing of major incoming.
Newcastle.
What have they bought?
Barnes, Ashley Barnes.
Tonali and Barnes.
Yeah. So, okay. I still don't think they've improved massively. I think they've got a huge task on in the Champions League. I think everybody will know all about them now as well. So I think they're not going to struggle because I think 7th is still a half-decent season, but I think they won't be in amongst where they were last season. So the tough one for me was 4th, 5th and 6th. And it leaves me with Villa, Liverpool and Chelsea. And the way I tried to do this table was, when I started, was with Villa especially, where do we finish? Are we better than them? Yes, all the way up. And I got to Liverpool and Chelsea, and after the seasons they both had last year, it's very, very, very difficult to say, are they both going to improve massively next season? And that's the big question. You've all sort of picked that they are going to pick up and be pushing back into the top 4 or 5. I initially put Villa in 5th, but I've done a usual, and I've pushed us up into 4th.
You haven't.
I have.
You haven't.
I have. Yeah,
oh, Justin.
I'm going to stand by this. I am going to stand by this.
Card.
And the reason I'm standing by it is the same reason as Ryan has and ahed with 6 or 7 positions. This table is very, very hard to judge. You can't. There's always one or two throw a knacker in, isn't there? I don't think Chelsea are going to improve massively on last season. I think they will improve. I think Pochettino's a good manager. I still think there's so many problems there that to settle that squad down immediately and have them right at it in the top 4, I don't see it. I
don't see goals in Chelsea.
No,
unless
and
the
Liverpool one
hit the ground running.
The Liverpool one was the big one for me. You know, they've kept Klopp, obviously. There is murmurings around Anfield. They wasn't happy last season with what he did. If they get off to a bad start, because they're going to be expected to be in that top 4, they won't stand for 2 seasons like they had last season, then the fans could start having a little moan up there. And I just think we are never, ever going to go into a season. I can't remember in my life going into a season with a manager like we have, a squad of players like we've got, and in the form that we're in, taking last season's form into this season. So, given all that, are we any worse than Liverpool or Chelsea currently? That's what I thought. And in my opinion, no, we're not. They're 2 teams that had awful seasons last year. We had a very good season last year. Are we any worse than those 2 teams? Now, we could quite easily finish 6th. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a hair's breadth between us and those 2 teams. All I've done is I've chosen to say we're going to just nip above them. That's it, like we did in 7th last year.
That is a bold one, Justin.
I should have put that as my wild card, shouldn't I?
I mean, I can't believe that.
Hold on, Hannah's got us top 4 at Christmas here.
That's what I mean. I can't
turn it down.
Can't judge too much.
Yeah, cool. Fair play then. Right, so let's move on then. Let's get interesting. I mean, this can look a bit like a mosh pit down you get down here, right? So I've gone with Fulham in 11th, which now I'm thinking maybe not. I've got West Ham in 12th, Everton 13th, Brentford 14th, Burnley 15th, Palace 16th, Forest 17th, Wolves in 18th, going down, Sheffield United and Luton Town. That is my bottom half of the Premier League. I think if I had to run through it, I think West Ham will have just an average season. I think Everton will be all right. Brentford will have a bit of a drop-off. Burnley will do okay in some games, and then I think they'll have a few games where they're quite poor. Palace, Roy Hodgson, dull vibe there. dull vibes. Zaha's gone. Forest, I think, will be up and down like they were last season. Wolves recruitment is, well, it isn't recruitment, is it? I think their squad has been depleted massively. Everything when they were successful ran through Neves. Now he's gone. I think he's that linchpin that's just disappeared. They haven't got a goal scorer. Defence looks a bit shaky. Sheffield United, I think, that gap between Championship and Premier League, as we've seen, being a newly promoted side, how you have to take those little steps to actually get anywhere near mid-table, I think is massive. And Luton, I just cannot see them staying up whatsoever. I don't think it will be as bad as Derby, but I think it will be pretty bad for them this season. So we'll kick it off then. We'll go Justin. You can go with this one next.
Pretty similar to you. I mean, I had Brentford in 10th, where you had Bournemouth in the top half, didn't you? As you a bit of a wild card. But I've done Fulham 11th. Palace for the same reasons as you. They're just going to be lower than mid-table. He'll keep them ticking over. I don't think they'll ever be in massive trouble. They've lost Zaha. Looks like they might lose Elise as well, possibly. So that's going to be a huge blow to them. I think Everton are going to just do enough. I think, Dyche will just have them ticking over. They'll pick wins up every now and again, and they'll just stay away from that bottom half. It's very similar with West Ham as well. Again, you can toss a coin with lots of these. It's very difficult, but I think West Ham are in a very similar berth to Palace, Everton and Fulham, but they're just going to stick around there. And then I think from 15th down, these are the teams for me are going to be in massive trouble. And again, any of them can probably drop. Forest probably, 15th, Bournemouth 16th, Burnley 17th, and I had the same bottom three. This time last year I predicted Wolves to get relegated, and I was laughed off the pod. And had it not been for
you nearly were earlier as well.
I know, yeah. If it wasn't for Lopetegui's, input when he came in, they would have gone down for me. I just think that everybody knows the problems at Wolves. They can't buy players. They have been left with, I did look at them yesterday, they had a decent win in the last friendly. And their first 11 isn't actually terrible. I've got to be brutally honest. It's not an awful first 11. They've got some decent players in there. But after that first 11, they are in big trouble. Yeah. They've got no depth whatsoever. And if some of those players in that first 11 who are half-decent players currently haven't shown anything at Wolves, that they are good players, but they just haven't shown anything like the form. So their first 11 have got to be on it every single week, and they can't score goals. So I just think the pressure, potentially they could even lose Lopetegui before the start of the season if they don't sign anyone. So I still think they're in huge trouble. And Sheffield United and Luton, bottom two, I think for me. Luton have the only thing that saves Luton next season is if they can start and get any kind of home form, because it's a very, very awkward place to go and play, and Premier League teams will not enjoy going to Luton and playing. So their only hope really is getting some kind of points at home, because I think they're going to be tated away from home most weeks. So they're going to have to, pick up points at home. I just don't see it, unfortunately.
I just don't think they've got the squad though. It's like it's okay being a tough place to go, but they've got to back it up on the pitch to make it sort of difficult.
To be fair to the manager there, he's you can either do a Forest or you can do what he's done. And Forest went in and just basically signed 150 players and then tried to find an 11 that could keep them up. Luton have trusted the players that have come up. Now that's not the worst thing in the world, because they've been through a lot together, that squad of players, and that camaraderie and that togetherness is something that possibly could translate into a few early results in the season, a few surprise results, which could be enough to spark them into maybe getting enough points to stay up. But if they start the season badly and get a few hammerings early doors, then I do fear for them, I really do. But you never know. Strange things have happened, but I think most people were going to be predicting Luton to go down, I think.
Yeah. Ryan, what you gone with?
I have gone for Crystal Palace in 11th. That was probably one of my easiest picks. West Ham.
The squad
mid-table at that. I don't know, mid-table at that. Always mid-table. I think Hodgson in charge again. Just steadies the ship, doesn't it? West Ham in 12th. I do not feel like they've capitalised so far in this transfer window on the back of their European Cup success and the loss of Rice, which yielded 100 million quid. They've yet to splash any of that, haven't they? I think Moyes wants certain players, and I think the board want other type of players, or the director of football wants other type of players. So they're a bit logheads at the minute, and I just don't feel like they've had a real settled pre-season. I've gone for Fulham in 13th. I think they will drop off this season. Bit of second season syndrome. Mitrovic has already thrown his toys out the pram, hasn't he? Doesn't want to play for the club again, wants to move to Saudi. So bit of unrest there as well, I think. 14th place, I have gone for Bournemouth. I think they've brought well. They've got a new young manager in, so it'd be interesting to see how they've hit the ground running. But yeah, they've brought well. 15th, I can't read my handwriting there. I've gone Burnley. Out of the three that have come up, I think that Burnley, under Vincent Kompany and the signings they've made so far, they've brought the young keeper from City.
Yeah.
That looked quite good in the Euro tournament that England won. So they're also after Aaron Ramsey as well, aren't they, for a deal? So I don't know. Just got a little vibe about Burnley that Burnley might do well. Forest, I've gone 16th. I've gone Everton 17th. I did toy with them getting relegated. I think they've been hovering around this relegation zone for the last 2 seasons now. Transfer-wise, they've brought in Mr. Dependable, Mr. Ashley Young, super signing for them. But apart from that, is it Danjuna they've brought in? I do think they'll be solid, but I just can't see where any goals are coming from or creative spark. And I remember Dyche's Burnley getting relegated the one season, and no one really turned them over, but they just couldn't score goals. And I'm seeing the same thing again with Everton here. I don't think it'll be down to Dyche's management or style of play. It will be down to purely lack of investment from the board's half. So, but I've got them just to keep their noses above the water again. 18th place, I have gone for Wolves for the reasons you've spoke about. Just in the FFP will just, I think, like you said, the first 11 is better than the first 11 they had at the start of last season, but they've got nothing else. You know, they looked to sign Aaron Creswell for $3 million and couldn't afford him. So that tells you everything, doesn't it? So the backup and the squad depth is just non-existent. I've gone for Sheffield United in 19th place. And then I did put my football romantic head on and try and see a way for Luton to cause any type of upset, but can't see it. I can't see it. Look, Luton, they are the model club for any football league team. They've come up through the ranks brilliantly. They're such a well-run club, and you know every football league team has. You've just got to have respect for what they've done. They've done it properly. It's not like they've pumped loads of money in it. They haven't got the financial clout that Forest have come up with, and they can't do what Forest have done and just go out and buy 20 players and worry about it next season. They can't. They've got to think a bit more savvy than that. It does. I don't like the cliche of building for a season in the Championship next season. I don't like that. But it has got that type of vibe that they're putting things in place to come back up the following season.
I think they're happy to take the money and run, are they?
I
to take the Premier League money and just, I don't see them
the
buying
journey
30,
that
40
they've
million
been on.
players.
Yeah,
it's fantastic, But like you say, they're such a well-run club. They won't risk their future for one season.
No.
They just won't do that. So they'll look at that money to invest in the ground and everything. And you know.
And then I looked at the home form as well because it's Kenilworth Road, isn't it? Kenilworth Road, tough. You know, it's a little dinky stadium. The fans are right on top of you. You can imagine what the changing room is going to be like. Probably a little porter cabin in the car park or something like that. So it's not going to be the nicest setting for Premier League players to go to. But I think last season their away form was better. So I don't know. I couldn't even cling on to like the home form type of vibe. And then I thought, okay, what about if they win 5 games at home, 5, 6 games? That's only 15, 18 points. I can't see them pulling much up out away. I look at similar teams that have come up like a Blackpool, and they sort of got off to a good start, didn't they? I think they won at the Emirates, didn't they, Blackpool, that one season? And they sort of had a good start, but it caught up on them. And this is such an elite league. I like everybody else, I had to put them bottom, but I did try and think of a way of not putting them bottom, but bottom of the league for them.
Hannah, what are you going with?
Well, yes, many similar ones. I've got a different bottom three. I've got
That's
Fulham in
interesting.
11th.
First different bottom
Go
three.
on,
I know,
go on then.
Got Fulham in 11th. I've got Everton in 12th. I think they'll will improve a little bit this season. They've got to. West Ham in 13th. Not
I'm
signed
just trying to
anyone.
work out which teams you're not going to talk about now. Go on.
Oh, you know who it's going to be.
I don't think she's got Wolves in there.
I do not have Wolves in there. I've got
Right, see you
Palace in
later.
14th. Love Roy, but each one this time. Bournemouth in 15th. Again, bit of a mess side. Sorry, Bournemouth. Forest in 16th, just enough to stay up. Wolves in 17th. I completely agree with all your points, but I just think squad-wise, it's better than my bottom three, which will eventually save them. I don't think they'll have the same manager by the end of the season, and potentially that will be something that helps spur them on. But I think they'll just avoid the drop. But they are a ticking time bomb. I will agree on that. And I've got Burnley in 18th, Sheffield United in 19th, Luton in 20th.
So you've got everybody that's come up going down.
Going down, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
When's the
Very
last time
common.
that happened?
I think
It hasn't happened for a while, has it?
not for a while, but I think nearly half of like the last 10 seasons or something like that. That's very rough off the top of my head. The three that have come up have gone back down. So it's not as rare as it seems. It's just the last few seasons. I think perhaps, I don't know whether it's the way the clubs have started to run themselves. Clubs are starting to prepare a bit better because they've seen so much of it happen, that they're surviving. But even if it doesn't happen in the first season, it's very rare that you get many success stories of promoted sides lasting for more than a season or two. So
it does
yeah, I
feel
think they'll
like the
struggle.
three that came up that could go down again, though, doesn't it? That they do feel like three teams that could go easily.
Yeah, right, cool. Let's go then. Let's fire through three things then. So, FA Cup, League Cup, and we'll go with a cup that we are also in. FA Cup, I've gone with Arsenal. I think Arsenal are going to win the FA Cup. So, Ryan, what you gone with? Justin?
I've gone with Villa because at some point we're going to win the FA Cup again.
Justin!
I'm going to predict it every year.
You've gone
as I said,
top four. You've got us winning the FA Cup,
mate. We're having a barnstormer. He's manager of the season at the end of the season. We're having
I don't know why anyone expected anything.
We're having a
less,
party at the end of the season. I'm telling you.
We're winning the lot. We're winning the lot.
It doesn't mean they all have to happen, but if I predict them, then at least one can. Wait till you hear the other predictions.
Oh, Christ. We ain't doing the quadruple or the treble.
Hold on. So far, I've only got us down to win the FA Cup, nothing else. You don't get a trophy for coming fourth, despite what other teams think.
Right, Ryan.
I also went with Arsenal, and I had us down for a 5th or 6th round this season.
Yeah.
Right. Which would be a success for us, given our recent history.
Yeah, League Cup, I've gone with Liverpool. I think they're probably going to win a trophy. If I had to just touch on what I think we're going to do in the Cups, I think we'll be taking it seriously. But I just think as the course of a season goes on, there will be times where we don't. I don't know. I just don't see us winning one of those this season. Yeah, I've gone with Liverpool. So all far away then, League Cup.
Liverpool.
City.
Liverpool as
They've got to win. They've got to win one domestic trophy.
They're winning enough. Christ.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to stop.
Who did you go, Ryan? Did you go Liverpool?
No, I went with a bit of a wild card for this one. Brighton.
Already, right?
Brighton. I went with for this
cheeky.
One. Yeah, I don't know.
Random one.
Yeah.
Right.
So none of you think City are going to win the FA or League Cup?
No.
Bold.
No.
Bold.
I just think we're going to win the FA Cup at some point. So I always have a bet on it every year. So
Europa Conference League.
Obvious.
I've gone with Aston Villa. I think we're going to win it. I really think we're going to win it. And the reason why I've said that I don't think we're going to win the FA or League Cup is because I think our priority in the order of which I think we're going to put the competitions will be Premier League, Europa Conference League, FA Cup, and League Cup. I think that will be our priority in order, and I think we're going to win it. I really do. I think we'll be too strong for the lot of them, and with Emery as manager, he knows how to win in Europe. So for me, that will be the trophy that we lift this season. I'm going to have a guess now. You've all said the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin, have you?
Yep. I genuinely
listen. No, you listen. We haven't won a trophy in how many years, and you've got us
winning
doing the double.
You know what, London buses, they come along, you get two at once.
I'm finishing fourth.
Yeah, look, I've taken all these on their own merits. You know, I've detailed why I think that league we could finish anywhere from fourth to probably sixth or seventh. FA Cup is my dream to see us win the FA Cup.
Yeah,
and I think at some point we're going to win it, and I can't bring myself to predict anyone else. The chances are we won't win the FA Cup. But if I'm going to predict a team, I want to predict Villa to win it. I'm pushing it on. You know what they call it when you make it happen, when you dream it. Manifest it. That's the one, H. So the Conference League, I don't until we kick off, we don't know the full rundown of teams, do we? But looking at the teams that are in it, we're the favourites from the bookies, and that's for a reason. The English League's one of the strongest in Europe. West Ham were pretty crap last season, let's be right, and they won it. So there's no reason why we can't win it. So
agree.
We're going to win it. We're going to do the double.
Look at how well we've played, or how well we've got results wise against two pretty strong European sides in pre-season. When
last year in the Champions League,
we're not we weren't even in first gear. You feel like it just for me feels.
Do you know what? I reckon Justin was at that Warsaw game watching us v Lazio with his little notepad going. We've gone 3-0 up against Lazio and he's gone, what, Villa?
It could have been worse. I could have predicted us to win the League Cup as well, couldn't I? I've left that one on the table for someone else to win.
Someone else can have that one. We've got enough.
Yeah. 4th and 2 cups, that'll do. And Emery to win Manager of the Year. It's just a good season.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've also predicted us to win the Europa Conference, which is crazy. We haven't played in Europe for 12 years, right? We're entering the competition and we're probably going to be favourites. We all fancy it, don't we? And I think the bookmakers will fancy it. I think we'll be the bookies' favourite. And, I don't know. I think, like you say, priorities, Luke. I think priorities will evolve around the season. I think what you've said there will be our starting priority.
I would agree as well, yeah.
The European games kick off early. Hopefully we don't draw Rapid Vienna in the playoff group, and then we will advance to the group stage then, won't we? And that's sort of when the League Cup starts as well. If we do well in the group stage, I think that will take priority and focus over the League Cup, even though we come into the League Cup a bit later this year. We come in at the 3rd round, don't we?
You know what, Ryan? I still think he'll prioritise every single game on its merits.
I believe that too. I
just think in the early rounds, I just think
as the games pick up, I think it will just become
if it gets difficult,
sort of more of a you might rest a few more than what he
because the thing that I imagine what we're going to have here is that maybe our second game in the League Cup. So we've maybe won the first one. Is that normally September, October?
November time, isn't it?
Imagine we've had a game week of European on a Thursday, Premier League on a Sunday. We've then got League Cup on a Tuesday. And how would we all be feeling, I think, in that League Cup week? I think we'd be thinking, right, let's have a bit of a rest. Let's get everyone back for that next Premier League game. I don't know. That's how I think.
I think there's a couple of catch-up periods in this season, and I think where that League Cup 3rd, 4th, 5th round is, is a catch-up of where the end of the group stage is. And I think the accumulation of games there would catch up on us. And then I also think if we do progress out of the group stage into the knockout games of the Euros, you're looking at 4th, 5th, 6th round of the FA Cup then catching up with us. It's within that cluster of knockout games. And I think them 2 periods there will just become very, very intense, especially with the Premier League as well, which I think we'll be looking. We're looking at that 5th, I reckon. I reckon deep down, Emery's looking at that 5th as a target, as his objective. I think that's where they're looking at. A 6th place, 7th place finish would be good still. It'd still be a flipping fantastic season. But I think they will be looking at 5th. And I just think them 2 clusters of games there is very telling for our season.
I agree.
But I think that the league format might help us in this Conference League, because you saw that with West Ham. They went hard in the first few games, got to the top of the group, and then you almost don't need to win the last couple of games, so you can play a weakened side if you like. I don't think we've got a weakened side really, because we've got some really good players now. So I do think that could tie into going deep in one of the sort of domestic cup competitions.
Yeah,
it's bloody exciting though, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, no, it is really exciting. It is really exciting. Right, so let's fire through. I think this one's pretty obvious. I've gone top scorer in the Premier League as Haaland, and assist I went with Saka. What's
Same
everyone
as
else
me.
gone with? Really, you got me
We're
that
on
as
the
well?
same wavelength today.
Yeah,
We really are.
Yeah.
Same as me. Yeah.
Thinking
I've had exactly the same. Haaland's inevitable, isn't it? Apart from that, I had maybe Salah, Rashford. Rashford finished the season well. Nunes is a little bit of a wild card. I also think Watkins will breach the 20-goal gap. Exceed 20 goals that we haven't seen in a Villa player do in the Premier League for a long time. Assist-wise, again, I went for Saka, and a little bit of a wild card was Trent Alexander-Arnold, because I can see him moving up to midfield, so assist for him, so that's more 2.
Yeah, Justin's gone Watkins top scorer, and he's gone Diaby top assist in the Premier League.
No, you don't know me at all, do you? I went Watkins and Buendia. I didn't really. I went Haaland. I mean, that's just an obvious one. Yeah. And I did go for Trent Alexander-Arnold for the same reasons that Ryan said. He got 11 last year, I think, and I think De Bruyne had won it with 16, did he? Assists last season, so he weren't that far off, and he played a lot of the season at right back. I think with corners and free kicks and pushing further forward into that sort of quarterback role, I do think that he will add a few more, so I think he'll get close.
Cool. Right, so that's that one. And then the final one, Villa's player of the season. I have gone with Moussa Diaby. I think he's just going to be an electric, and I think he's going to be everything that we've been missing for the last couple of seasons. Hannah?
Yeah, if anyone watched the season preview, that would have been very on brand, and mine's very on brand as well. I've gone with Tielemans. I'm just very excited about him. I think he's going to be pivotal in a lot of our gameplay this season and really strengthening our midfield.
Nice. Ryan?
I have gone for sometimes the best player don't win player of the year. Sometimes it's when someone achieves something. And I really do believe, I've just alluded to it then, I really do believe that Watkins will get that 20 goals. And he might not be the best player of the season, but he will win the award for that accolade of scoring all them goals. I truly believe he's going to get 20 plus this season.
I do too.
Yeah.
Right, Justin?
I went with Sam's Hannah, Yuri Tielemans. I think he's going to be outstanding.
Yeah.
I love it. And young player is always quite difficult because they've got to be young, and there's not that many that can potentially win this award. I think Ramsey's won it the last couple of seasons, hasn't he? But I think surely he now becomes a senior player and not a young player anymore. So I have gone with Philogene, and I'll give you another little wild card. At this moment in time, I think Philogene starts the first game of the season.
Wow.
That is my wild suggestion.
Sneak preview to the predicted lineup episode.
Yeah, that's it.
Little taster.
I just think I just got a funny feeling that Emery just likes him, and I think he can do what Emery wants him to do, and the trust. Yeah, and I think, and this is another bold prediction that I'm going to say. I think Emery and I think myself trusts Philogene more than Bailey. That is my little suggestion. So I don't think Philogene's going to be that player that plays every week. I'm not suggesting that, but I think at key moments we're going to see progression from him, and I think that progression is going to be enough to warrant him winning that award. So, you know, it might be one of these where he starts the first couple of games and then he's back as a sub, and then we might see him in like the odd group stage game, and then I just think it'll be a bit like that with him. So that is my Villa young player of the season. Justin?
Yeah, I couldn't really see past Philogene Bidace, to be fair. With the pre-season he's had, he's banging the manager's thoughts, isn't he, and mine. So I think he's going to get some minutes early on in the season. Then it's going to be down to him whether he takes that chance, you know, or drifts off during the season and other people come in. The only other one I seriously considered was Duran. I know we haven't seen any of him in pre-season. I know he sort of tailed off, you know, towards the end of the season, didn't get that many minutes, didn't really make an impact. But given our light striking options, I do think once he's fit, he's going to get some minutes. And he could make an impact, you know, he could score some important goals for us. So, you know, I think that if that happens, then he would definitely be in the running for Young Player of the Year. But I can't see past Philogene Bidace at the moment, if I'm brutally honest.
Yeah. Hannah?
I've gone for the same. I think, it's slim pickings, isn't it, to be fair? Of what realistic options. Like, it's not going to be Ramsey anymore. It can't be. And Philogene's had the biggest impact in pre-season. You always hope that it's going to go into the Premier League season. Feels like since Ramsey, and then before that, maybe Jack Grealish, it's very rare that we've actually had some of these exciting young youth prospects really kind of hit the ground and make it into first team. So I feel like we're due another one now. So it would be really nice if it is Philogene. He had some great loan spells, didn't he? He's back now, trusted by the manager. It's his time to prove it.
Yes. Ryan?
Yes, like Hannah said, slim pickings. There's not a lot to choose from, but Bidace is the standout. I've like followed him since his debut at Tottenham. We did the loan watch on the website, so sort of kept tracks on what he was doing. I've just always liked him. You know, sometimes you just get that vibe about a player, don't you? And you wish him on. And I tweeted about him at the start of the pre-season, whether he'd get game time, and if he did, would he get a chance to stake a claim? And he did. You know, look at all them games he started in the summer series, and he's put himself in that squad. Now the next, I think, is a bigger challenge than actually getting in the squad. He's trying to stay there, and there's going to be a lot of games at the start of this season, and he's really got to step up and prove it. Apart from Ramsey, who we are ruling out now being a bit too old, there's only really Archer and Duran. I think it's too soon for the likes of Caden Young, Kellyman. You might see a little bit of Seb Revan, maybe until Moreno's back. He's quite solid. He's had a solid pre-season, but like I say, Bidace is the standout for Young Player of the Year.
Yes, right. That is it. The time for us to stop predicting and etc. is over. The next phase of the podcast is the season phase. So next episode from us, potentially now, is going to be the match preview. And just want to say thanks everyone that's been watching us and enjoying the content. And hopefully we've got you sort of ready for the season. We've whet the appetite. We've helped with the excitement levels, and just hope that we have a really, really good season, because like we've said so many times recently, like this feels special. This feels big. It feels like, I mean, for Justin, it feels like
it's going to be a barnstormer.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I get that double decker open top bus parade branded ready, because it's going to be a big job come the end of the season to have 2 bus parades, get it mapped
double trophies, double trophies.
I blame Emery. I blame Emery. He's just filled us with too much confidence, hasn't he? He's
blind optimism.
Yeah,
3 trophies. Sorry, with his Manager of the Year award in the middle as well.
Yes.
That one.
And the Watkins is player of the season, and one of them's going to get the PFA award. Remember?
That's it. Yeah.
We might as well just give him the golden boot as well, and Martinez can have the golden glove. Yeah.
I can't wait to the end of season when we have to go over this.
I'll tell you, do you know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for walking down them Holt End steps all season and we ain't lost a game. What a happy fan cam we're gonna do all season. It's gonna be amazing. But no, like, I just want everyone to enjoy the season. Hopefully it's, you know, what we all expect, and it's as good as what we expect. And it feels like towards the end we will have our Aston Villa back. So so all week now until the end of the season, we're going to have loads of different concepts. We have got match previews, predicted lineups, opposition previews. We have got press conference. We've got a new concept dropping, and then it's going to be followed by all of our content after a game. I've got a brand new thing that I have got as well to share with you after games. So that it looks like it's dramatically improved as well. So, you know, we're going to have in-depth tactical episodes. So I want to try and bring to you as much as a variation of different content that we possibly can, but something that everybody at home can get involved with as well. So, you know, Ryan's website, head over, you've got your predicted lineup maker, so you can predict the teams, you can share it on social media. You've got the player ratings that you can go on the website, share your player ratings after the games. The new concept coming as well, which is going to be fully interactive. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing, and it's for you guys to enjoy basically and to have a say. We will also be doing the football phone-in as well, so that's going to start the Monday after the Newcastle game. So again, if you want to actually come on the channel and be on screen like this, there's the option there for you to do so. If you want to write some articles, then drop us an email and Ryan can have a look and get you involved in that as well. So, you know, everything that we do is for you guys to participate as well. So, so I just want to say thanks, everyone. Enjoy it, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa.